Hola clase! Today we're going to talk about nouns and definite and indefinite articles. So make sure you have your nouns and definite and indefinite articles note guide available and that you're filling it in as we go through the PowerPoint together. Okay, the first slide we're going to talk about some examples of nouns and how to identify them in Spanish. The first bullet here says that a noun is a person, animal, place, thing, or idea, and that is the first question in part A of your note guide, so pause the video and fill that out. Here are some examples of three nouns. We've given you an example of a person, place, and thing. La maestra means teacher, la escuela is school, and el helado is ice cream. Nouns in Spanish are either masculine or feminine, so look here, it tells us that nouns ending in an O are usually masculine, and nouns ending in A are usually feminine. Not all nouns will end in O or A, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later. And just because it ends in an O, for example, doesn't always mean it's masculine, but that is the usual rule. So most of the time, a masculine noun will end in an O, and a feminine noun will end in an A. So pause the video at this time and fill in the next two questions on your note guide for part A. Okay, so here are some examples of some Spanish nouns you have already learned. Let's look at the masculine side first. El teléfono, el piano, and el café. So notice the first two masculine nouns end in O, just like we said, but this one, el café, ends in an E. So this is one of those exceptions. The word café happens to be a masculine word in Spanish. You must memorize that. Just because it does not have an O, then you'll memorize that it is a masculine noun. The feminine side has la computadora, la guitarra, and la ensalada. Notice that the feminine side, all of these do end in an A, so those all follow the usual rule. At this time, pause the video and fill in the next two parts of part A. Okay, nouns can be singular and plural. That's the same in English. It tells us here that to make a noun plural that ends in a vowel in Spanish, you must add an S. Okay, so if we look over here on this side, libro, galleta, and deporte all end in vowels, O, A, and E. If we want to make them plural and change book to books, we must add an S. If we want to make cookie plural, we must add an S. And finally, sport, we must add an S. Okay, so pause the video at this time and fill in the part of the note guide that asks how to make a noun plural if it ends in a vowel. To make a noun plural that ends in a consonant, you add ES. So notice here, actividad ends in a D, which is a consonant. Mujer ends in an R, which is a consonant. And papel ends in an L, which is also a consonant. To make actividad, mujer, and papel plural, we must add ES. Actividades, mujeres, and papeles. At this time, pause the video and fill in how to make a noun plural if it ends in a consonant. Okay, let's look at the definite articles. You'll need to answer the questions for part B based on what we talk about here. So the definite articles in Spanish are el, la, los, and las. All four of those Spanish words mean the. Please pause the video and fill in the first question for part B. Okay, practiquemos, let's practice. We notice here that helado is masculine, it ends in an O. And we also know that it's singular because it does not have an S on the end. So if we want to pick which one of these definite articles to use with helado, we need one that is masculine and singular, and that would be el. El helado means the ice cream. Número dos, chica ends in an A. It does not have an S. It's not plural, so we need a definite article that is feminine and singular. La would be the correct choice here, so la chica means the girl. Libros ends in OS. That tells us it's masculine and plural. Therefore, we need the masculine and plural definite article that means the would be los. Los libros are the books. The same for jugos. Notice it ends in OS, which tells us it's masculine and plural. Therefore, we need los for that one as well. Los jugos is the juices. And if we want to say the music, we need to choose one that is feminine and singular. La música. Indefinite articles, notice here some mean a or an and some mean some. So for the next part on part B of your note guide, let's fill in that the words un and una can mean a or an. Pause the video. Let's also write that unos and unas are the indefinite articles that mean some. Pause the video to fill that in on your note guide. Okay, so if we wanted to say a book, because you wouldn't say some book, you need a singular one here, right? So because it ends in an O, it tells us it's masculine, and that it also is singular. So we would use un libro to say a book. Galleta is feminine, so we would say una galleta to say a cookie. The next three are plural. We know that because they end in S. So we would choose one of these two, unos or unas. Notice that bicicletas is feminine and plural, so we would use unas, bicicletas, to say some bikes. Papas fritas is also feminine and plural, so we would use unas, papas fritas, to say some fries. And finally, refrescos, which is not feminine, it is masculine and plural. For that one, we would use unos refrescos for some soft drinks. Okay, practiquemos. Let's do the first one together. Then you'll pause the video and fill out the rest, and we'll go through the answers together. Okay, número uno, a boy. If you notice on your note guide, it tells you that there are two words that can mean a or an. They are un and una. Well, the word boy we know is chico. Chico is masculine. Therefore, we need to choose the masculine indefinite article. Un chico would be the correct answer. Please pause the video and fill out número dos through número 10. Okay, let's check our answers. The schools. Las escuelas would go together because there are 4 ways to say that. And since escuelas is feminine and plural, we needed feminine and plural the. Okay. Some sports. The words for some are unos and unas. Deportes is one of those nouns that you need to memorize. It ends in es, which tells us it's plural. And then we do have to memorize that it's masculine. So unos would be masculine and plural. We would match that up with deportes. A woman. So 2 ways to say a is un or una. Because mujer is a woman, we would use una to match that up. Some vegetables, unas verduras. Notice too, most of the time you can match the endings up, okay? So the 2 words to say some are unos and unas, and we need unas here because verduras is masculine and plural, or sorry, excuse me, feminine and plural. So notice the as on the end here matches up with the as here. A lot of times that is the case, not always. Okay, a movie. We know un and una is a, and película is feminine, so we need the feminine, una película. A class. We must memorize clase. Even though it ends in an e, we have to memorize that it is a feminine word, so we would use una. The violin. Again, it does not end in o, it ends in an n. We have to memorize that the word for violin is masculine. So the violin would be el violín. Violin is not only singular, but it's masculine. The boys, okay? Words for the are el, la, los, and las. We know that chicos is plural and masculine, therefore we need los. And finally, some tests. Unos exámenes. Unos, because exámenes is masculine. Okay, write any questions you may have on your note guide and make sure you ask them as soon as class begins before the quiz. There will be a 5-point mini quiz the next day at the very beginning of class, and please take the initiative to watch the video more than once in order to fully and completely understand the content covered in the video and or to help you clear up any confusion. Okay, at this time, make sure that you fill out part D of your note guide. Adios.